for another edition of NFL Live as we continue breaking down the divisions as we head into, yes, you guessed it, the NFL season, which is just around the corner. You got myself, Jimothy, and the best co host in the business, Tubby. We are back at it again today to break down the North divisions, both AFC and NFC. So, Tubby, welcome back to the show.
What is up? I mean, it's great because we had college football this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Then you wake up on Monday and go, we've really got college football this weekend, and then we got NFL next week.
I am pumped up. I got 3 fantasy drafts this week alone. I'm sure. How many you got?
I'm only in 2 leagues this year.
Wow, that's the dream. That is the dream, man.
I figure school's too much right now. I can only focus and be invested in 2.
I was trying to get it down to 2, and then it just did not work out. Being a commissioner is hard sometimes, so that's just where I'm at. You get it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Nope. I gotcha.
Yeah. So they everyone hits you up. They're like, "Hey, we're doing the league." I'm like,
Yeah. They tried
Right,
during class. A couple of the guys
won't.
like, hey, you want to get in the fantasy football league? I was like, no.
yeah, like I'd smoke you all anyway. What are we even doing?
Yeah. I mean, go watch the podcast. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, I did get into a debate today with this is baseball related, so a side tangent here, but it was I said that it's Bobby Witt is the 3rd best player in all of baseball right now. Aaron Judge is 2, and I'd say Shohei is number 1, and he's like, I don't know if Bobby Witt's number 3, and I was like, no, Bobby Witt is number 3, and we started going down the list, and any name he had, and I was like, listen, I do this
Yeah.
all the time. I promise you, I'm right about this one. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's not even a question. Bobby Witt is clearly a top 3 player in baseball right now.
Yeah, but I will say it was a lot of fun, and I was glad that he was willing to have the conversation. And he's like, no, how about this player? What do you think about this player? And it wasn't like, no, you're wrong, Jimothy, but it was, hey, no, how about this player? So it was a good conversation, but it was a lot of fun. I was like, I'm pretty rooted in this. So how much of the college football did you watch this weekend?
So I watched all the K-State Iowa State game, and then caught bits and pieces of a few other games. I didn't get we had some friends and family come in, so I had to go to the airport and all that stuff. So didn't get to watch like the Kansas game and stuff like that, but I at least got to watch the main one.
Yeah, I got to watch parts of the Iowa State K-State game, the second half mostly. So it was a classic Dublin game. Obviously the weather there, and Iowa State did pull that one out, and then
they did.
It's I don't know. We'll see if they can build it. It was a lot sloppier than we thought, but it's a long road game. The weather wasn't great. I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into it also being the first game of the year for what will the year look like for these 2 teams. So I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, I mean the only thing is if you're Kansas State, you have to buck the curve. What has happened to the teams that have lost in Dublin over the last 5 years? They don't play great once they come back. So hopefully for them, they're able to get some things together. I will say there was a few instances where I watched Avery Johnson play, and I had some questions with maybe the strength of his hands, which is a weird thing to say. But if you watch most of the game, a lot of the balls are sailing. Yes, the ball is wet, but that's something you're going to have to deal with, especially
in Kansas State.
Yeah. And so I had some questions there because a lot of the time it looked like he was really struggling to control the ball in his hand before he released it.
Yeah. Well, some of the other games out there, Kansas dominated 31-7 over Fresno State. That they were playing against Kurt Warner's nephew. So he just was outmatched in that game. EJ Warner was. And then UNLV barely beats Idaho State after we were talking all this, like, I don't know. And then they made us look terrible. So sorry about that, everybody. If you put any stock. Idaho State's not a good FCS team right now. I don't think
No.
And then the other one I thought was good was the Hawaii-Stanford game. Hawaii pulls this one out. The quarterback for I can't say his last name, for Hawaii. I don't know if you've seen him. His high school numbers out of the Nevada area in Las Vegas almost. Wow. He was incredible. Only a 3-star recruit because he's very undersized, but he reminds me a lot of Dylan Gabriel, also a lefty, also from Hawaii. Originally. So, I'm just saying, watch out for Hawaii to just be a fun team to watch if you're up super late on a college football game day.
And then how about the ending of the game? Have you seen the story about the kicker? The kid that makes the field goal. So he's from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen U.S. football ever until a couple years ago. Comes over, goes to a game, goes
Mhm.
home, watches YouTube, and teaches himself
So
how
how
to
to kick.
become a kicker. And now he
Good for
kicks
him.
a game-winning field goal in his first game in college against Stanford. I was like, that's great. I mean, that's so awesome. Like he's like, I was about to pass out before I kicked the football.
Dude, I can't imagine being that nervous teaching yourself and like I don't know what I'm doing. Like this is insane.
Right?
Also, Stanford Cardinal, can you please get a quarterback coach? Andrew Luck is on the team. He's like the GM or whatever, athletic director
Yeah.
kind of role that they created
Hmm.
now in college football. This is a trash quarterback program. Since he left, it is terrible. Ben Goldbrinson transferred there. He was absolutely terrible. And I'm sorry, I don't think Hawaii's defense is that good. Such a bad representation for Stanford. They lost this game bad. So
Yeah.
all that said, we're going to have a great show today as we're going into NFL, but we will have more, obviously, content coming for college football as we go into week number 1. We're going to have some picks as we go into that. But so make sure, if you haven't already, if you're watching the show, one, thank you so much for joining us on our late edition of NFL Live. But we also would love you to hit the subscribe button because we do 2 shows per week on the W Sports Podcast. And the best part about that is you guys. You all are the best part
Yes.
about it. So make sure you're here. Make sure you're in the chat. Tubby always does the best he can.
Mm.
Keep up with the chat. Give some shout outs there. So if you have questions or thoughts, or you think our takes are ridiculous, please
Yeah.
put that in the chat. We'd love to know that.
I mean, says there's 29 of you in here right now. So if you're in here, go ahead, drop your, maybe your favorite college football team, your NFL team,
Yes,
and who knows, we might actually get to him on this episode.
that's true. Very true. So we are going to start today, though, with the AFC North. I would say this is one of the most competitive divisions that we have seen in
Yeah.
football, and it's been historical like this since as long as we've been alive. Right now, Tubby.
Yeah. Hmm.
And you look at this. This is one of the best divisions in all of football, top to bottom, outside of the Browns. We can get a little bit into the Browns mess that they have with
Oh
Shadur
gosh.
Sanders and just the mess
Yeah.
of why you can't cut him, why you can't give the reins to Dylan Gabriel, and why they're just in a hole right now. Because they also keep Kenny Pickett. What are we doing? So
No, Kenny Pickett just got traded. Actually,
did he? Okay, good. I had not
he,
heard that yet. Well,
he got
okay,
traded to the
that's good.
Raiders. Yep.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Good for the Raiders, I guess. Good for the AFC West.
I mean, Aiden O'Connell did fracture his wrist in the final preseason game, so they didn't have a backup. So they
That
went
makes
out and
sense.
gave up a 5th-round pick for a backup quarterback, which
Feels like a
okay.
lot for Kenny
Yeah.
Pickett
Yeah.
at this point in time. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Tell me. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns. Give us the storyline maybe for this team, or what your expectations should be, or even in the chat, put that out there.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, we don't expect Flacco to have a renaissance year like he did a few years ago with the Browns. He won't have the job midway through the season, or probably less than that. Probably week 5, week 6. We'll see either Gabriel or I'm gonna guess Gabriel. Doesn't sound like Stefanski's the biggest fan of Shador Sanders, because why would you
Then
pull him
why
out in the
did you
2?
draft him?
He didn't. It was the owner.
I
It,
understand.
so I mean,
Oh, it's just
like,
driving me insane.
yeah. I mean, the way they handled that situation, it was like they set him up to fail in that game. I mean, he got sacked 5 times. Offensive line was, couldn't protect him against
4 of them got cut.
yeah. And
Terrible.
the fact that you don't put him in the game in that 2-minute drill to see what you got in a young quarterback. I don't care if you're playing 3rd, 4th string. If he can go out there and run a 2-minute drill, let's see it. And you pull him out and you put in Tyler Huntley of all people.
Yeah, but they did that. That is 100% on purpose. You cannot tell me that it wasn't. Shadur Sanders should have been given that shot. Tyler Huntley, we know exactly what Tyler Huntley is, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's a reason why they already cut him, because he's not an NFL quarterback. We need to see what you have in your young quarterbacks, and all Kevin Stefanski's doing is just like, oh, I don't care about that guy. I'll throw him over here. I'll put him out there, let him get sacked all these times. Don't give him a chance to get some redemption at the end. Bench him at the end of the game, and then be like, oh, well, we had a discussion about it on the sideline. You can tell Shador was upset, which I would be too. I mean,
give me a shot, coach. Come on.
Yeah, why are you pulling me out for 4th string quarterback in the final preseason game to give me a chance to go out there and show something? And you don't give me that opportunity. I think it was just malpractice by Stefanski, the Browns, the whole
It's very
situation.
Browns of the whole situation.
It really is.
So outside of Shadur Sanders, maybe or Dylan Gabriel, or what they do at the quarterback position, give us as football fans one reason, one person that we should be watching to give us a reason to watch this team this year.
Oh gosh, I mean, of course you got Miles Garrett, one of the best players
There
in
it
the
is.
NFL. That's the only reason. I mean, maybe if you're looking fantasy wise, there could be a sleeper guy like a Dylan Sampson, running back late in the draft, or maybe he's a pickup, waiver wire pickup somewhat through the season. If something happens to Jerome Ford or whatever. I don't know so much about Quinshon Junkins. He still hasn't officially signed the
Yeah,
contract yet.
that's kind
So
of a mess too.
yeah, I mean, he got cleared of everything, but
Yeah,
hasn't signed the contract yet. So we don't know where that's going to go. But yeah, I mean, it's not great. I mean, it's going to be a rough season for the Cleveland Browns once again.
yeah. Well, and what are the chances that everyone's talking about them needing to draft a quarterback next year? I don't think they will because they'll have to. But I mean, that's scary things could happen if you're a Cleveland Browns
I
fan.
I think that's going to be the conversation. Honestly, I think with what we expect the potential of this quarterback draft coming up next year, I think there's going to be a
Yeah,
lot of murmurs about them needing to draft a quarterback because you do have 2 first-round picks. What we know for sure one's going to be more than likely pretty high. We don't really know exactly what's going to happen with the Jaguars. What are the
middle of the
expectations
pack. I
there?
mean,
But
it's a 10
yeah,
to 20, somewhere in that range. Not great,
yeah,
but not terrible.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so you're going to have 2 solid picks in a quarterback heavy draft. There's a chance that they may go for a quarterback because I don't know if he will.
yeah,
Don't expect him to. We'll more than likely see both of them, and they'll kind of
yeah,
have an idea. Do we need to move forward with one of these guys, or do we need to go a
yeah.
different direction?
Well, speaking of different directions, let's look at your boy Aaron Rodgers is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a team that has been 9-8 ish around that playoff
Yeah.
type contender ish on the fringe for so long. Is this enough to get them over the hump, or is this enough to keep them in purgatory over the next few years to not get a quarterback for the future?
They're going to be in the same exact situation we see every year. The defense will be good. Offense is going to be bad because Aaron Rodgers is well past his prime.
Hmm.
Not that great of a quarterback. We saw him throw 12 interceptions last year, which is up there with one of those career highs. His game just
Dude,
isn't
he
there
looks
anymore.
so slow. Any of the highlights you
Yeah.
see him, his
Hmm.
footwork, and maybe he's going through the motions because he can as a vet, but he looks like he's in cement.
Yeah. I mean, it's what he looked like all last year with the
Yeah,
Jets. He's more than likely going to get hurt just because he is older, more fragile. I just their defense will be good enough to
yeah.
win them games like we see it each year. But everyone's like, oh well, he's better than you know Russell Wilson. He's better
I
than
don't know that he
Justin
is.
Fields. And yeah,
I don't think
and
he
stuff.
is.
I don't believe he is either. I agree. Dean put in the chat. Give Will Howard a chance. Why not? I mean, just because we know
Because
Aaron
it's not
Rodgers
Mason.
is
It's not Mason Rudolph.
yeah, Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph are not the answer.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers on the wrong side of 40 and looked awful last year as a
yeah.
quarterback. You really think that's going to get better
No.
this year? I mean, yeah, you got DK Metcalf.
But that's it. But honestly, that is it. They don't have a lead running
Yeah.
back. They don't have. I don't necessarily like the 1-2 punch, and their wide
Hmm.
receivers drop off so hard. I don't think
Yeah,
Calvin Austin is a two or Robert Woods. We know exactly who those players are.
exactly. That's what I just, the weapons aren't there for him offensive wise outside of DK Metcalf. That is the consistent weapon. Like I said, you've got 2 great edge rushers. You got a solid interior defensive line once Casey Hayward decides to
Hmm.
get over this contract dispute. You got Porter Jr., you got
Dude,
Jalen
yeah.
Ramsey, you got a great secondary, but you just don't have an offense again.
This is the epitome of an 8 to 9 win team again
Hmm. Yeah.
this year. Assuming,
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is average. If you get average offense,
Yeah.
that defense is good enough to be 8 and 9, and they're like,
Hmm.
well, look at this. And here's the thing: I think Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches in all of football right now. I mean, he's going to take
Great.
this team and still put them in, and he's taken the chaos that the
Yeah.
Steelers have had with personalities at times, and he still puts them into playoff position. I love Mike Tomlin. I hope that
Hmm.
something can work out for him long term, but I do think that they're a bit in that purgatory when it
Yeah.
comes to quarterbacks of the future.
Yeah, I mean, they had every opportunity to take a quarterback this year.
They
I
should
mean,
have.
you had a
They should have.
chance to take Shore, you had a chance to take Jackson Dart. You had a chance to
Yeah.
take one of these quarterbacks with some upside in this draft, and you didn't take that. You had a chance to at least keep Justin Fields,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
it
Justin
would have
Fields
it would have
would have
been
been easy.
would have been a much better option than a 40-year-old, 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers who's coming off one of the worst seasons of his career.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. The storyline for them, obviously, this year, they just got Trey Hendrickson. So, breaking today was, in case you
Yeah.
didn't know, they got the best piece on their defense. One of the top, since he came into the league, he's top 3 in sacks. He's third.
Hmm.
But I think Watt and Miles Garrett, I believe, are above him.
Yeah.
I think that's what it
Hmm.
is. So, uh, a must have, but is it
Yeah.
enough? Is it enough? This is the inverse of what the Steelers have.
Yeah. No, it's still not enough on the defense, just because there's so many questions in that secondary. And then there's questions with the pass rush outside of Trey Hendrickson.
Hmm.
What does Shamar Stewart give you? With everything,
Yeah.
the
Will he ever
drama,
live up? Yeah.
all the drama we saw from this offseason. Can, one of these guys that you have drafted in the last couple of years step up to be that, opposite edge rusher of Trey Hendrickson? But it's really comes down to is that secondary is so bad. They're going to give up passing yards and passing yards. So they're going to have to do what they did last year, but they can't start out the way they did. They can't start out, 0-2 and hope to make the playoffs again. They have, I think they've won one game since Joe Burrow has been the starting quarterback in the first 2 weeks of the season. I think they're 1 in like 12 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, as good as Joe Burrow is, we talked about pure
Yeah.
quarterback. He's the Peyton Manning of
Hmm.
this era of football. Well, Patrick. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, everybody. Well,
Patrick.
Patrick Mahomes is the Tom Brady, and then you
Hmm.
got Joe Burrow, who in my brain, not Joe Burrow, uh, uh,
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, one of a kind. But even
Yeah.
Josh Allen is the Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger.
Hmm.
And I'd even say, not because of the rushing side, but even the passing, like the pinpoint accuracy, is Aaron Rodgers
Hmm.
like from Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
The dude doesn't turn
Yeah.
the ball over, and Aaron Rodgers
Hmm.
was so good at that in his prime. And
Yeah.
you look at this. This is exactly what Peyton Manning ran into. He had Marvin Harrison. He had Reggie Wayne. He had Edgerrin James. He had, I mean, even it was
Dallas Clark.
just stacked on offense. And until
Yeah.
they got, and when you get the pieces right, it will be magic, and it will be a pain in the butt for the AFC as a
Yeah.
whole. This should be
Hmm.
the priority, especially once they started paying these guys. Like, come on, get these
Yeah.
guys, get locked in, and go find yourself the best defensive coordinator you can. Get yourself a Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep.
Just,
And
maybe I'm biased.
no, it's 100% correct. Until you get a defense, we're going to see it again and again where they're going to have to score 30 plus points to have a chance, because that secondary is going to give up yards and
Mm.
touchdowns, because it is they threw all the resources towards the offensive side
Yeah,
when it comes to the
again,
money.
gotta score points.
Yeah, you got to score
What does
points.
it? What does it say though about Shamar Stewart that he's still not starting? Is it just the rookie thing and all the extra baggage, or is this that? No, I don't know that he's ever going to live up to the hype.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is the rookie thing and him getting into camp late and stuff like that. But I mean, you go look at the production from college; it wasn't great. But a big part of that
The
was he was
system.
playing. Yeah, he was playing out of position. The system wasn't great for
Yeah.
him. But there's also you kind of look at it and you go, but he is a freak athlete, so he should have been able to put up more than 4 sacks in his college
Dude,
career.
especially at the college level. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
So
Yeah.
how much is it his ability or his want to? Does he want to go
Yeah.
out there and play? And part of me doesn't feel like that's a big thing for him, where he wants to go out there and play and compete and stuff like that. It seems like he's just okay with just going, yeah, I'm in the NFL now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully not the case because the talent level
Yeah.
should be through the roof. Now, as
Yeah.
an AFC team, I'm okay. It's not for now anyway.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Bateman, Hopkins. Stop it with the Hopkins stuff. We
Yeah.
come on, he's past it.
Hmm.
Andrews as a likely, and just the offense as a whole.
Yeah.
This team returns almost just intact from last year, and they should have made a deeper playoff run. And on
Hmm.
the defensive side, they're a very well put together team, well coached
Yes.
team. What is the realistic expectation for the Baltimore Ravens this year?
I realistic expectation is they should be at least in the AFC Championship game. This team is one of the
Agreed.
most talented teams on paper, but it's going to come down to can they get it done in the playoffs. I have no doubt that they're going to win this division, and they it shouldn't be super difficult for them to because of the pieces that they have. But can Lamar Jackson in that team get it done in the playoffs is going to be the biggest thing. I mean, it's his Achilles heel. It comes playoff time. He turns into a different quarterback instead of the quarterback, the MVP, caliber quarterback we see every year during the regular season.
Yeah, we're going to know a lot about this team in the first month because
Hmm.
in the first month they get at Buffalo, then they get Cleveland,
Hmm.
against Detroit, and then at Kansas City. That's a gauntlet to start, and then
Golly.
it softens up for a little bit
Yeah.
there in the middle for quite some time until the end,
Hmm.
where they get the Bengals uh, twice in 3 weeks.
The
Twice in
thing
three
is,
weeks.
you have to play the two teams that you're fighting for the number one seed that early in the season
Yeah,
could be the difference of
yeah.
whether or not you are the number one seed or you're, 2-3.
Mhm. And they end the season back to back road games at Green Bay and at Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's not going to be good offensively, but that's
Yeah,
a division game at the end of the year. I'm just saying, this is not a great bookend schedule. The middle is they should definitely beef up their record, but I would agree. This is AFC Championship team or bust. Not
yeah,
even a chance. Like last year, they were so good. They outscored their opponents by 157 points. That was tied with Buffalo. Only the
yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles were better outside of the Detroit Lions. So there are the top four teams there, but like Lions and the Eagles are kind of in the NFC, but top two right there. I don't know. How many teams do you think make the playoffs from the AFC North?
I'm gonna. I'll say two. I'll say that I think the Bengals will offense will be good enough
Good
to
enough to get
push
them in.
them.
Yeah,
Can they win the playoff game without a defense? Probably not.
yeah.
But the
I think they
offense
could
is
win one.
say the offense is so good with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, Joe Burrow. If all of them stay healthy, they should. But it's still the same team we saw last year that had the
Yeah,
Jamar Chase, the T. Higgins, the Chase Brown,
it's true.
the offense, Joe Burrow healthy, and you lose the first two games of the season, and it absolutely affected any chance that you
Hmm.
had because you missed the playoffs because you didn't win one of those games.
I
You
know.
lost week one
Yeah,
to Jacoby Brissett and the New England Patriots.
never forget.
So, so
Yeah,
they have to find a way to get off to a hotter start than they have over the last 4 or 5 years. Because if not, it could potentially be the reason, why they
yeah.
don't make it to the playoffs, which we have seen already. Because they just, for some reason, start of the season, it's like, what's going on? This
Yeah.
isn't the offense that we should be seeing. This isn't, the team we should be seeing. They should be going out there and beating the Patriots with Jacoby Brissett leading the team by 20 points, and you
Yeah.
lose that game, and it
Yeah.
costs you the spot in the playoffs.
And I would the last little thing I have to say is, I mean, you look at the AFC and it's very top heavy, and some of those middle teams, that's not good enough to really compete. And I would say, give me the edge to the Bengals in that case, where the
Hmm.
Steelers are on the outside looking in. But I think that South gets one, the East probably gets one. They might
Yeah.
sneak in a second, but other than that, we'll talk about the AFC West later next week or
Hmm.
later this week, excuse me. So make sure again you
Yeah.
hit subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss the AFC and the NFC West. But those divisions are deeper, so I think
Hmm.
that's where the third team will
Yeah.
come from. So,
Yeah.
well, let's move on to the NFC North, another deep division with some good quarterback play. I'd say one of the better quarterbacks
Yeah.
divisions that we've had,
Hmm.
but with some adjustments. And last year, obviously, the Lions 15-2, the Vikings at 14-3, followed by the Packers at 11-6. All had incredible point differentials.
Yeah.
Followed by the Bears, who were at one point, don't forget everybody, they were, what was it, 4-1 or 4-2?
4-1.
For rattling off one win and 11
Yeah.
losses to finish it. And then you had an offseason where Caleb Williams doesn't necessarily look in sync or studied up or coached up, even from last year.
Yeah.
What should we be expecting this year as the goal for a
Hmm.
team like the Bears?
Yeah. The Bears. If you're the Bears, you're hoping for 8 wins. I you
But they
you
had 8
have
wins like 2 years ago,
yeah,
or 9 wins.
but yeah, but now you have a whole new system coming in, offensive side and the defensive side of things. It's a whole new system that everyone's going to have to get together. But really, you have to see that step forward from Caleb Williams to give you an idea of whether or not you have your quarterback. And it's hard to say that after 2 years, but what we saw last year, I don't put a whole lot on him because of the coaching staff and the
So
rumors of
bad.
them not watching film with him and making him do it by himself. They didn't coach him well. You got you a great quarterback coach. We believe
Mhm,
in Ben Johnson. We saw what he was able to do with Jared Goff and turn
mhm,
Goff's career around and turn him into a top 10 quarterback. He's going to have to do that with Caleb Williams. They have the offensive pieces to do it. You've got DJ Moore, you got Roman Duze, you've got Luther Burden, you've got two tight ends in Komet and Loveland. You've got a rebuilt offensive line. You have a decent, solid running back in DeAndre Swift. Now can Caleb Williams take that step forward and give the Bears, the Chicago Bears, any hope over the next couple of years? They have to see that this year, or they could potentially just be in the same spot that they are every single year, where they're like, do we have our quarterback or don't we have our quarterback?
and I, after the record, I'm with you. I'm not gonna put a whole lot of stock into last year's coaching
Yeah.
fiasco there, but I do think he's a fantasy football wise, every now and then we're gonna sneak those in there. He's a
Hmm.
sleeper pick I would have
I,
because he
I
had
believe so.
81 rushes, over
Hmm.
400 yards, and 0 touchdowns. I don't think that happens
Yeah.
again. He's
No.
gonna find the end zone, I would say 3 or 4 times at least, and I
Hmm.
think he could potentially be the first ever Chicago Bear quarterback with 4,000 yards passing this year. I think
Yeah.
there's a
No.
chance.
I
With
definitely
that skill
agree.
set, they got even Luther Burden to be kind of a gadget guy.
Yeah.
I like
I totally agree. I think that he has every opportunity to do that. It's
it.
just how fast can he pick it up, and
Mhm.
how fast does he process things? How fast can Ben Johnson get him up to speed on things to give him that opportunity with the athleticism and everything that he has?
Yeah. Yeah, I still see it. I still believe in it. So
I do too.
I think 8 wins is a great goal, and then be competitive this year. They
Hmm.
retooling a little bit of the offensive line too.
Hmm.
Montez Sweat now being on the defense. I think there's some good pieces. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. The Minnesota Vikings, the next team we'll talk about, 14-3. Moving on, new quarterback situation.
Hmm.
Does it matter who the quarterback is in Minnesota because the skill positions are that good, or what should a Minnesota fan really be feeling right
I mean, it does have to matter some. I mean, you can't just throw out any quarterback out there just because you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones, CJ Hawkinson. We saw it whenever Kirk Cousins got hurt. Nick Mullins comes
now?
in, the season fell apart.
Hmm.
I don't think JJ McCarthy's as bad as Nick Mullins, but I think the expectation that everyone is having for the Vikings to just kind of, I don't know, say replicate.
Cruise on through.
I don't think anyone expects them to go 14-3 again. But for them just to be like, oh, yeah, that's a lock playoff team, I need to see it from JJ McCarthy before I can give any, you know, hope for them. Because honestly, I'm not a big JJ McCarthy fan. I
Yeah.
didn't like him in college just because we didn't really ever see him have to be in that position where he had to be the guy.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
had that so dominant offensive line, run game, and they had that dominant defense. He was never put in that position where he had to be that person to win the game. So can he, maybe it was just the way the offensive system and stuff was ran, he didn't need to be,
Hmm.
or was it that he just doesn't have that capability? We'll find out this year. I mean,
How about the dumbest decision is to have him throw 7 passes in the preseason after having a year away to get his timing
100%.
in sync? Terrible
Mm-hmm.
decision. I hated it, especially
100%.
because we both felt very similar about JJ McCarthy coming into it. I see all
Mm-hmm.
the characteristics of why they like him as a quarterback, but not
Yeah.
enough to move on without a better plan. But I think
But
it tells
yeah.
a lot that Carson Wentz was re-signed. This is
Mm-hmm.
now a historic backup in the NFL, but I
Yeah.
think they don't trust. I don't know that they even trust it for what it's at, and it's just such a
Yeah.
disservice. And to not have Jordan Addison for a couple of games to start the year,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Justin Jefferson's great. Did get injured
Yeah.
last year, just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the drop off at wide receiver is dramatic right
Yeah.
now without Addison in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, for sure. And like, if any indication from the preseason, which I don't like to take too much stock in the
Yeah,
preseason games, but he was missing high a lot, and that was a thing that we saw in college where the miss was high, and the problem is it's a miss high in the middle of the field, where that's one
that's
place
a
you
pick.
cannot miss high, either a pick or you're getting your wide receiver sent to the hospital.
That's
So
worse. Yeah.
yeah, there was just not enough for me to see go, yeah, I think that this team is going to be good. Their defense is going to be solid again this year, but I'm not ready to just automatically pencil them into a playoff spot like a lot of people are.
Well, Dan Orlowski said JJ McCarthy and the Vikings will be just a pain to deal with this season, which is just come on, man.
I don't know.
Come on, man.
Like how can you say that when you have we saw him throw what you said 7 passes this preseason. We saw him throw 10 to 12 preseason before. Then he got hurt. We don't know what he is. You can watch as much film, you can watch as much practice as you want until it's in game speed, real life football. I don't know what they got, so I have to go off what I saw from college, and what I saw from college isn't an NFL starting quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not ready to say that this team is going to be a tough team to beat. Yeah, you've got the great weapons, but you have to have that quarterback to get them the ball. All of Nick Mullins and Josh, even when they got Josh Dobbs, you have to have that guy.
Yeah. You could not play not to lose the game, but you can't really play win the game with those guys.
Exactly.
They're just not there. That's fine.
No.
Well, let's look at a team. Probably I would say you could make the argument, probably the best talented quarterback in the division, Jordan Love. He's got Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs outside of maybe Gibbs, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, the new guy, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson. There's a lot of good, but is there enough great in this team to make the ultimate leap to be a division champ this year?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the offensive side of things. I think Matthew Golden has the opportunity to ascend to a number one wide receiver. Okay. Everything that I've seen, heard from, him and Jordan Love are already on that same page where they are connected at the hip and they have a really good relationship. It comes down to the defensive side of things at corner and at the edge rusher outside of Rashawn Gary. What do you have? I'm really worried about the corner position for the Green Bay Packers. Didn't really do a whole lot. You went out and signed Nate Hobbs. Nothing to write home about. You don't draft, one until the 5th, 6th round. You don't sign anyone else. Go out there, sign Asante Samuel Jr. Just listen, go do it real quick before the season starts.
I like that. I like that signing too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have to see something from Lucas Van Ness. Your first round pick from a couple of years ago. He has very underwhelmed. We knew he was raw. We knew he wasn't going to come in and just be this dominant pass rusher, but he has to show more off the edge. He's good in the run. He has to refine his pass rushing skills to give that defensive line any hope outside of Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark. But they moved Clark more to the nose tackle this year instead of a defensive end.
I agree. Like where he was drafted, he was the 13th overall in the first round. He needs to produce, and he comes from a place that you expect good defensive production.
Yeah,
from Iowa. So I 100% agree. I think that's the question mark because you see the pieces. I want to see an established rotation or an established, I guess, hierarchy is a better argument because I think they have a rotation on the skill positions on the offense. Give us some consistency, and like you said, give us some rhythm to trust what's going to happen. I think that's a massive, massive deal for Jordan Love and the receiving core. Last year, just felt like everyone was there.
People got to catch. You got to catch football.
Also, a challenge.
You had the highest drop rate in the NFL last year. You had the most drops by wide receivers. Catch the football.
Yeah,
that's all you got to do. Just catch the football. I mean, don't. I'm not going to get into this, but like offensive line, I think is going to be real solid again. Got Josh Jacobs. We saw what he was able to do last year. He showed that he can be included in the pass game. Tucker Kraft, I think, is going to take another big leap forward this year. They have the offensive weapons there.
I do.
Can they
have the offensive
match?
Yeah.
Yes, they have the offensive mind also.
Well, they are going to get a great chance to show off what they can do on the defensive side because week 1 they play, yes, you guessed it, the Detroit Lions at home. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And they also get them, I think, on Thanksgiving. So you get them everyone's going to be watching both of those games. But the Lions last year, yes, the injuries on the defensive side were such a hard. I mean, they just couldn't overcome them. But I
Mhm.
think that was a Super Bowl or bust kind of team at some point last year. But what is the actual goal this year?
It's Super Bowl bust, I think. The team you have, you didn't lose much. You lost,
Hmm.
Ragnow, your starting center. Yeah, you were able to replace him. You're fine.
Hmm. You
Defense,
lost a
you get
year
eight.
of David Montgomery's health.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's
You get Aiden
1 year
Hutchinson
further.
back this year. You went outside DJ Reed. You've got the defense that they can stay healthy outside of a second edge rusher, which was one thing that we talked about during the draft process,
Hmm.
where they should have probably went towards that instead of drafting another defensive tackle. But
Hmm.
this team should still be one of the top 3 or 4 teams that people pick to be in the Super Bowl. But one of the biggest questions is what happens with the offense without Ben Johnson, and what happens with the defense
Yeah.
without the defense
Well, yeah,
coordinator. So
that's part of the journey, whenever. But I
yeah,
still think the culture that they have built in
yeah,
Detroit, I believe that it
hmm
will outlast. I think it will. I hear what you're saying.
I agree.
They have some of the best skill positions out there. You think
They
of
do.
Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even Khalif Raymond being the fourth wide receiver is better than some teams
Yeah,
3 and 2. I mean, we
yeah,
talked about some teams he's better than the second receiver, and he's not
yeah,
great, but he's good. And
hmm
Amon-Ra St. Brown still being so underrated
yeah,
at his position is wild. But I think Jameson
hmm
Williams, he is the next version of a Tyreek Hill when he first came on, in my mind,
yeah,
because he is so explosive. He's
hmm
just obviously got to catch the ball, catch the ball, stay on the field. Just do
stay
that,
out of
and I'll be
trouble.
happy. Yeah, stay out of
Yeah,
trouble.
stay out of trouble.
Yeah. So I just like it. I like this team. I think I like the way they're coached. Um,
hmm
I think this is you got to make it to the Super Bowl. Like let that be
Yeah,
the goal this year, and then once you get to the Super Bowl, let what happens happens. But
yeah,
but I will say the path to it is not going to be easy in the NFC. And we're going to get to that later in the podcast, but not today. But like as
yeah,
you're subscribed, you'll see as we get into what does it look like and the predictions for this season. This
yeah.
is an uphill battle for some of these NFC teams, just like it is in the top heavy. But
Uh,
I would say it's deeper in the NFC.
yeah, there's more teams that you could see, potentially making that run in the NFC, where the AFC, you've got 3 teams in your mind where you're like, okay, these are clearly the top
You know,
3
teams.
teams.
Yeah,
It's probably going to be one of these 3.
yeah. So we are already at 38 minutes, Tubby. So one,
Yeah.
thanks everyone for hanging out with us for a little bit. Tubby, how many playoff teams from this division? 2, or can we sneak a third in there? Maybe the Vikings and JJ McCarthy, or an 8-win team makes it in as a 17.
Yeah. I think we'll have 3.
All right. Okay. Does someone make it in with 8 wins, an 8-9 record?
Potentially. I think
Okay.
there's a potential just because you look at the NFC South, you've got one. It's the Buccaneers. Should
Mm-hmm.
be the only team. And then you go to the East, probably 2 with the Commanders and the Eagles. Don't
Yep, I
expect
can see
the
that.
Cowboys to be in. Then you go to the
Yeah.
to the West. That's where it gets a little tricky. I only see one, and I think it's the Rams. I don't see the 49ers getting back to the playoffs again this year because of a lot of the questions that they have, on the defensive side, the offensive line, stuff like that. Can CMC stay healthy? What happens? Ayuk's been out.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
know, you've
This is a
got a lot of
drop off
questions
team.
there. Yeah. So I think there's a very good, possibility that they get 3 teams in and again in the playoffs.
Wow. Okay. I can see that. The one thing I wish that the NFL season would give us is the Bengals versus the Cowboys. They don't play each other, everybody. But could you imagine the scoreboard on that game?
Yeah. 49-48.
What's
One
the
team
over
wins
under on that?
because the other one misses. Yeah.
How many?
72.
Yeah, make sure I start every fantasy player on offense on that one, and do not start those defenses. Is all I'm
Yeah.
saying. So, guys, that concludes our show for today. That's the NFC and AFC North. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that I don't know if we missed anything in the chat, Tubby, if anybody else had anything, but
But yeah, one guy say that the Bengals are a top tier team and they will 100% make playoffs. Don't know about that,
but
my opinion.
I think that their offense is top tier.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah,
he's wrong.
their offense is top tier. The team as a whole, no.
Okay, all right, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But we are going to
And
break down the AFC West and the NFC West later this week. So sorry, I didn't want
yeah,
to cut you off there.
uh,
Tell me, my bad.
say just shout out to people in chat commented. Uh, Chunky, Maddie, Dean, Nathan, Andrew. Andrew, if you come back, maybe we can give you some picks for this upcoming for the NFL games next week. Come back next week, give you some of our ideas of what we think could happen week 1.
I like it. I like it. Well, you guys are the best fans in all of sports. I'm just going to say that, best fans in all sports, because that is the W Sports
Yes.
Podcast. That's a wrap. We'll see y'all next time.
See ya.